KSC present. Man buys ranch for cheap, realizes he's been played. Located in the middle of the desert in Buckeye, Arizona is a seemingly ordinary ranch. At least, that's what John and Joyce had thought at first. The couple had hopes to open a sanctuary for dogs and horses, and they needed a large tract of land to make all their wishes come true. And this property had it all. The large southwestern-style home had 5 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, stables, and even a 10-foot-long swimming pool. John and Joyce Edmonds, overjoyed with their bargain purchase, moved into their new home in 1996, but almost immediately, strange things began to happen. When they stepped into the door, they noticed that something was amiss. The previous owners had left all of their belongings inside the house, and from the looks of it, they had left in a hurry. John promptly called the realtor who had sold them the ranch, who informed him that the previous owner's possessions would be removed by the end of the day. John, satisfied, left the property with his wife to continue preparing for the big move, and give the previous occupants time to remove their belongings. But when they returned later, he couldn't believe his eyes. The contents inside the house were indeed gone from inside the house, but they hadn't been moved off the property. Instead, they had been piled high into the swimming pool, which was full of water. John, annoyed, was left to clear the items at his own cost. Everything except the family dog was in the pool, he recalled later, but unfortunately this was just the beginning of the strange occurrences at the ranch. Just 1 week later, John had a visitor. A strange man dressed in tattered clothing arrived at the door and introduced himself as the one who dealt with the monsters. He also said that he lived on the property, but John was having none of it. He told him to leave and that there was no employment for him on the farm. The strange man shook his finger at John and said, "You are going to be very, very sorry." The man's word haunted John throughout the weeks and years that followed. Soon after they had moved into the house on the ranch, John and his wife began to experience things that they just couldn't explain. Mysterious lights began to appear in the sky, and the uneasy feeling that they were being watched started to grow. John lay in bed at night, listening to noises that came from the darkness around him, too terrified to move. But it was not long before he located the source of his waking nightmare. John started to see dark shapes moving in the corners of his eyes when he lay in bed at night, and wondered if he was going insane. He began to research his property in hopes of finding answers, and what he found chilled him to the core. It turned out that Stardust Ranch, as it was officially named, had quite a reputation among the locals. The locals had strange tales of the occurrences at the ranch, and had even given it another name, the Alien Ranch. For decades, people had heard stories about paranormal activity taking place out there in the middle of desert. But could there be a reasonable explanation for what John and his wife were experiencing in their home? When John saw the mysterious beings with his own eyes for the first time, he was shattered. And worst of all, they seemed intent on doing harm. The final straw for John was when the beings attempted to abduct his wife. 20 years later, John still stands by what he thought happened, but he had decided that enough is enough. He and his wife want to live out their retirement in peace. So, he put Stardust Ranch on the market for $5 million in hope of selling it quickly and putting all the strange occurrences behind him. but he has a grim warning for potential buyers. After John had put the ranch up for sale for $5 million, he decided to lower the price of the property to just $3.9 million. John felt like his home had been invaded by strange beings, and they were around every corner. He called them little gray aliens. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.